Hey there friends, welcome back to Kat's Kitchen. So today we have a busy day ahead of us. We are going to be making a sirloin tip roast. We're going to be making some au jus sandwiches out of that. And we're also going to be making some chocolate covered Oreos a little bit later in another video, so stay tuned for that video. But this video is for our sirloin tip roast sandwich. So I'm going to show you from start to finish how we have to care for this roast in order to basically give it the crust that we need, give it the flavor we need, and we're going to be cooking it two different ways. So I'm going to show you here now. So we are at the sink, and I just cut open our bag. So what we're going to do, I always have it in a bowl in the fridge because I don't want any blood spilling out into my fridge. And then we just rinse it really, really good. You want to get all that blood off of there. And then we just drain this. Now this was in the freezer and it thawed out overnight. So it usually only takes one night in the freezer. I'm sorry, from the freezer to the fridge. We're gonna pop that roast right back into our bowl here. Okay, next we're gonna take some paper towels and we're just gonna pat this dry. You want your meat, every time you sear meat, you always want it to be extremely dry. That way you'll get a better crust formation on it. What we're gonna do is we're gonna put our dry seasonings on first. And then we're gonna sear it off. I have our cast iron skillet behind me heating up with some olive oil. Just making sure this is dry all the way around, and then I'm gonna wipe out my bowl. And then we'll season this. All right, next we're gonna start seasoning this. We're gonna hit it with some garlic powder. Some seasoned salt. Some steak seasoning. I'm using the cowboy seasoning. From Sam's Club. I'm gonna add on some mustard right now just because it is one of our wet ingredients. However, it's gonna help our spices to stick. So I'm just gonna give it some mustard here. And then we're gonna need some pepper. You can do this with a glove if you want, or you can just get right in here, give it a nice little rub. Obviously this is on our fat side, so this is the side we're going to put down first, is where you have that big thick piece of fat. And we're just going to kind of move this around in the bowl, so all those spices will stick right onto that mustard, and that's what we want. We're going to just finish doing the rest of these sides here. You can use any kind of mustard you want. Dijon. You can even do like a spicy mustard if you like. It would just be an experiment as far as the spice goes. I would just do a little at a time until you figure out what you like for your recipe. So I'm just going to season all these sides with our same seasonings. And then I'm just going to pat it in. Obviously, you see I have a clean hand for touching everything, and then I have a dirty hand for touching the meat. All right. Hit these sides. Our pan's nice and preheated right now. We want that skillet to scream once we put our meat in there. If it's not screaming, then it's not hot enough. You really want to, because as soon as you put your meat in there, your temperature is going to go down. All right, so we are all seasoned up. Like I said, you can swirl this on around, get all those seasonings nice and packed in there. We're going to put our thick fat side down first. I'm going to put on our fan because it's going to get a little loud. Swirl this around. Olive oil. And then make sure to always lay it away from you. You don't want to get splashed on. Just bring the bowl down with it. Comes to the bottom side, you're going to have to hold it with tongs to make sure you get everything, the top and the bottom, seared off. You see that beautiful, beautiful brown color on it. Turn it around, and then we'll do it on the other side here. See all that smoke coming off of there? That's what you want. You want it to be that hot. Alright, I'm going to kill our fire. Don't do that. I'm going to grab our roast. I'm going to pop it right into our crock pot. Make sure to move that off the heat. Because of how hot that is, you don't want it to keep smoldering. Alright, so now I've got our roast in our crock pot. And I'm just chopping up some onions. I've got 2 onions here. Be about the equivalent of 1 large onion. I'm going to do some slices. We're going to do some mushrooms later on. Nothing goes better with beef than mushrooms and onions, for sure. And mustard. Definitely put that one in there. Alright, next what we're going to do is we're going to add these onions right over top of our roast. And then we're going to start adding in our wet ingredients. We'll save this cutting board and knife for later because we'll need that. Alright, next to here, I'm going to add in a little bit of liquid smoke. A little Worcestershire sauce. A little bit of soy sauce. So we're making our au jus sauce while we're cooking down our roast in our crock pot. I'm gonna add in a little bit more Worcestershire. Add in the rest of this here. And then we're gonna make a bouillon for this. So we're gonna do bouillon and water to make our broth. Now if you want to do some onion soup mix, you can as well. What I'm going to do is I'm going to do my broth, let this cook for a little bit, taste it about halfway, see if it needs that additional onion soup mix. I am going to add in some fresh garlic to this though. The reason why we wait to add our wet ingredients in, the mustard is one thing, but all these other wet ingredients, we wait until after it's seared because it'll inhibit the whatever steak from searing if you're going to put wet ingredients on top of the steak and then try to sear it in our pan. That's why we want to towel dry it before we sear it so that you get that nice beautiful crust that forms. Already delicious. Okay, so what we're going to do now is make our bouillon broth. Got some beef bouillon cubes here. If you have beef broth already on hand, you can go ahead and use that. I tend to just kind of make it when I need it, because I'll be honest, I don't really use beef broth all that often, and it's pretty simple. I'm going to start off with 5 beef bouillon cubes. We're not going to fill up this pot all the way here, this our crock pot. Now I'm going to go and get about 4 cups of water, and I'm going to pour it in here. And then we're just going to set our lid on. We're going to lock it down so that the juices stay in. And then I'm going to set this for high for 6 hours. So here we go. Alrighty guys, so to go with our sandwiches, we're gonna make some sweet potato fries. So I just peeled about 3 medium sweet potatoes and just cut them into fry shape. And then now we're gonna season. There's already some olive oil on these I put on there. We're just gonna go ahead and season these. We're using salt, seasoned salt, pepper, parsley, and then a little bit of paprika. If you've never tried paprika on your fries, definitely give them a try. Adds a little bit of a nice little heat without being too much, and a nice little seasoning. I like to season these over my sink because it gets a little messy sometimes. And then what we'll do is we'll put these in our air fryer. What I'm actually going to do is I'm going to put them on the bake setting first, and then towards the end, when I want them to be crispy, we'll switch it over to the air fryer setting. Just give these a nice mix. I want them all to be coated. And then you want them to lay flat as well. These fries are so good, and they're really good for you. Better than your traditional fry. If you like sweet potatoes, you'll really like these. And even if you don't like sweet potatoes, give them a try because they're so good. All right, so I'm going to bake these now 350 for about 20-30 minutes, and then I'm going to put it on the air fryer setting, like I said. And then to go along with our sandwiches and our sweet potato fries, we're just gonna make a salad. So I will see you guys back here when it's all finished. What I did is I sauteed some Portobello mushrooms. You can use whatever type of mushroom you like. Just sauteed it with salt and pepper and with some butter. I used the same pan that we cooked the meat in so it would absorb all those flavors. Next, what I have is some Italian bread. I just sliced it up here, and what I'm gonna do is put some butter on it on both sides.
Sirloin sandwich with our sauteed mushrooms, onions, sweet potato fries, and then salad, of course. I just toasted our Italian bread like I showed you in our skillet, and then I put a little bit of Miracle Whip on there, and then we have our jus sauce over here. So thanks for watching, guys. Please like, share, and subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one.